Good morning, Monarchs. It's Wednesday. Woo! I am not surrounded by Doctor Who posters because I am currently in Bath on a holiday. Bath is not unlike an actual Bath because it has rained most days. I just got back from having lunch in a picnic that was raining on my head. The rain, not the picnic. So that was an interesting experience. I actually haven't done role-playing games ever in my life. I feel like I'm really missing out. I thought I'd talk about what makes a good character, what makes people like a character, what makes them three-dimensional, etc, etc. You have to have a certain strengths and weaknesses and evilness and goodness, etc, for them to feel like a real human being, which is important for a character, unless they're like not human. Yeah. A good example, I think, is my favourite character, Severus Snape, who's awesome, but is also not necessarily good, not necessarily evil. He's just human. He has a dark side in that he joined the Death Eaters, and he has a good side in that his love for Lily has caused him to go to the good side and do everything in his power to save her son. But also, he's kind of a dick towards Harry. I think it's often really important that the character goes on a kind of journey to find themselves. If you start off knowing a whole bunch of stuff about the character and end up knowing the same bunch of stuff, that's very boring. I think it's because we're very interested in other people, and when you go to a book or a film, you often like to live in the lives of people, and in order to live in the lives and the plots of people's lives, the worst thing an author can do to start off a book is to describe the character straight away. She was beautiful in an interesting and strange way. Red hair flowing right down to the centre of her knees, curling in a kind of zigzag formation. She walked always in a sort of andante pace, as though she was thinking something. She wanted to go, find herself, and find a boyfriend that would love her as much as she loved to read. Her favourite colour was green, and her favourite One Direction member was Harry Styles. A lot of characters seem the same. When you read books that aren't that good, the characters seem very similar to other books that aren't that good. Like, loads of chick flicks could be about the same two people, just meeting up in different scenarios. They don't really have much of a personality, which gets pretty boring after a while, and which is why I don't like watching chick flicks that much, because after you've seen the first one, you've seen them all, a bit like the X Factor. I know that younger boys don't usually read books about girls because they think that that's all about sissy stuff and it's all blah blah. You don't want to read a book about a girl, you want to read a book about a man. You've got to read a book about a man that you want to be a hero, a superhero. And it's a shame because they don't go for books that are equally as good with a female character in, whereas girls often read books about boys more than boys read books about girls. And I think that's interesting, and I hope that that changes, because books about girls aren't always about finding some mysterious public school guy who's alluring and rich and sparkles like a vampire. I think the most fun characters to write are often the evil ones or dickheads, or ones who are just really interesting. It's important to make an interesting character, otherwise when you're writing you'll just get bored and you'll start writing drivel. Characters are found in people that you know well and people that you've seen on the street, or like yourself. You write on things that you know about, and it's important to make sure that you have a believable character that has characteristics from people that you know, because you know how people will react to things. You think about characters, they have their own lives. You don't need to know everything about them, but they have their own feelings, their own fears, their own ambitions, and you need to think about that when you're writing a character or when you're reading a character. You need to be able to immerse yourself fully in their character and live their life, and that's a really important thing when reading or watching a film or acting or writing. Characters mean so much to us because humans are essentially social beings, and we like to connect to characters and feel like we're like them or aspire to be them. When I was younger, I used to really want to be Hermione Granger. People aspire to be characters, and characters can be really inspirational and affect us in our lives. I don't like characters that are too perfect because they always get on my nerves. Like, I read this book, or part of this book, one day. I could not read most of that because I just got so sick of the characters. They were so annoying, they were so perfect, and at the same time they were so flawed in the wrong way, so much that I couldn't bear reading. But you need to have the characters to be likeable, or at least unlikable in a funny way, for you to continue watching the film or reading a book, because otherwise I won't read it because it just gets boring. I know a lot of people like One Day, but for me I just felt like the characters lacked something. A good test of a good character is whether you care whether they die or not. You know, you want Bellatrix Lestrange to die, you want Umbridge to die because they're mean characters. Katniss to live, you want Harry to live. That's because they're the main characters and that's what you're meant to feel. If you kind of don't care whether they live or die, that's when you know that a character isn't that good. You need to have some feeling towards that character, otherwise they're not good. But if the character is sort of so annoying that you just, or so unrealistic that you can't deal with it, then you need to start rewriting that character or whoever's written it, because that's bad observation of people. That's pretty much all I have to say. I know I did a lot of repeating myself and being awkward and stuff, but I am not as good at speaking as I would like in it. Yeah, blood. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye!